We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Last chance shopping. Just what the thumbnail says. Just what it says. The lows are in. We're ready to go. The only thing that hasn't happened yet is that the general public and the institutions have not started racing each other to see who gets the Bitcoin, who gets the altcoins, who gets the DeFi, who gets it all. Literally, you're in a good position because if you're hearing the sound of my voice, it's time. If you were involved and you left, welcome back. If you never left, congratulations and thank you for being a YouTube member. I just got off the YouTube member podcast. We have altcoins in that group. We have altcoins in a special report. You can listen to the podcast, which I recommend. And dude, we got it all set up for you. Locked and loaded. Okay. Patreon has a report about the crypto miners. That's our middle tier offering. I heard something in the YouTube member podcast, and man, was I right on the money publishing this about the miners last night. Patreon store also has stuff if you're allergic to monthly fees. Okay, we are populating the Patreon store, Lux Algo. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, because when you see the news about Bitcoin, you're going to want to go to the Bitcoin conference, and you're going to realize that that may be the most exciting conference in the history of crypto. Because somebody asked me before the stream, because I made a living with something called sell in May and go away. And let's talk about that. A lot of people out there are going to be adopting sell in May and go away. Well, first of all, that's stupid, because what they did was they did sell in January. Now that crypto is obviously decoupled from equities, you can go to the YouTube member area to find out what we think about May, what we really think about it specifically. But sell in May and go away, you can just throw that out the window. Throw it out the window. We're not doing it. You want to find out what we are doing? And when you look at this today, 8 days ago, you had winter. 8 days ago, you had winter. And then the Eagle King, bless his heart, has got more stuff about Bitcoin and how it's going up and why it's going up and why this is last chance shopping. We will go through altcoin TA. We will take requests. We will stay on this thing as long as we can. By the way, I got an XRP chart that's worth sticking around for. Like, it could be time for XRP sooner than I would have even imagined. It really is. And it's just straight up TA based. Because, man, were they hating on XRP the other day. All right, let's welcome the Warriors in the house. Jav is here. Bull Runner, welcome, sir. Long Glaze, welcome, a new name. No secret, BlackRock owns everything and they want more. That's true. That's true. Man, is it going to be a race to get a hold of that ETF? Oh, my God. For their own funds. BlackRock may have to buy Bitcoin for the ETF for their own funds. Because BlackRock, remember, is not just, it's not just the evil empire. They run funds. They run funds. Whoops. And their funds are underweight Bitcoin, by the way. They're like, yeah, 1 to 2% allocation. Yeah, okay. Just put a 0 on the end of that. Donato is here. Xiao Lopez, welcome. Quiet Dawn, Patriot Caveman, Digital Bobby, Stefan. And I wanted to say this. If you're watching out there, shout out to all our friends in Canada. Shout out to you. God bless our hockey players out there and crypto freedom fighters, right? Tango FN, the antivirus cross-chain mixer. ETH and Solana private mixing, meaning it's there and then it's not there. So you get your money away from those who want to take it away. Don't think there's anyone out there that wants to take it away. Perhaps you should think again. Okay, definitely check out the website. John McAfee is on Twitter talking For real, like a talking John McAfee, leading the cryptocurrency revolution, along with yours truly, the Eagle King and Toby. Tybor is here. Lock Sync 23. Much love to you, sir. Okay, let's absolutely get it. Let's get it. Last chance shopping. BlackRock, $1 billion in ETF inflows, biggest since January, $2.3 billion in 4 days. Get long, get strong, or get fired. That's where we are with hedge funds, mutual funds, and the general public. And when they get to Coinbase, the general public, they're going to go nuts. We covered all that with DeFi and AI, as in the Coinbase coins, on that latest podcast. Get in there. Okay, here he is. He knows what's coming. What Larry knew when he built the Bitcoin ETF was like the type of thing we just had. Bond market frozen, stocks crashing, government can't stop spending. He had the Bitcoin ETF so that his own funds, like I said, would be able to buy large amounts of it quietly. 2% allocation for their equities funds. Boy, do they need to recompute fast. I got a slide later in here. I'm not sure if I can show it. Everyone always says in equities that all you have to do is buy the S&P. I don't need to do Bitcoin. I don't need to do Coinbase. I don't need to do anything. I just sit in the S&P. The Magnificent Seven lead the S&P. And guess what? They got smoked with that this year. Foreign equities outside the United States are up 9%. U.S. S&P down 10% as of now for the year. It's not going to work. Even if equities go back up and they're in a range, they're in a range. Where are you going to get banana zone price action? Not in the Magnificent Seven. Not in any software company where the code can be rewritten by some chatbot. This is why Larry's got all the Bitcoin. $32 billion SoftBank announcement. $900 million in Bitcoin. So huge company buys Bitcoin where? At Mar-a-Lago. These guys have to change the conversation. What was the conversation that worked best for them at the election? The crypto conversation. We'll discuss what they're trying to do with tariffs. Still a big YouTube topic. They got to change the subject. And you know who's going to change the subject for them? Corporations. Larry, Michael Saylor, Cantor Fitzgerald, right? They're going to, the private sector isn't going to wait for them, right? We don't have to sit around and wait for Uncle Sugar to give us anything. Nothing. It's the theme of McAfee, the theme of antivirus. In many ways, January was a departure from crypto common sense. Now, really, you don't need to be an expert in altcoins. I mean, we will tell you what altcoins we think are going to do well. And frankly, I think we, as in Toby, is right on the money. Right on the money. I sit here, I talk to her, I come back in here, I do the show, I look at the screen, I go, oh yeah. But in the event you live in a far off land and all you can do is hit the like button and the notification bell, you don't have to be an expert. Because if you can figure out like a basic DeFi play, a basic AI play, you can make money. And whatever you're going to do it fast. Do it before SoftBank does it. Sovereign wealth funds, large institutions, large pools of capital have been buying Bitcoin since April, says Coinbase Institutional on Communist News Network. It's funny, they were declaring crypto winter 8 days ago. That was either like a head fake to get everyone negative, to get it trending on Twitter, where they hoovered everything up, or the guy actually made a mistake and sold the low, which has happened to me. It happens. In 2018, when Bitcoin was at 3,000, I wrote a picture with bear with icicles all over it, and icicles all over Bitcoin, saying 1,500, and I hit the send button, and then I was like, oh no, you ever done that? You ever done a trade that as soon as you did it, you're like, oh, this is wrong? Yeah. I just turned it all around, switched it to 13,000, just put a 0 on the end of my prediction. Okay, Michael Saylor and the guy from GameStop. This guy from GameStop winds up being a genius for listening to Michael Saylor. You know, Michael Saylor's not getting enough credit. He has like a cyberpunk view of crypto from being in the software industry. He understands the computer science behind it. He understands that these hedge funds that are short his stock are going to get destroyed. We may talk more about that. Like the Swiss National Bank, which is an equities hedge fund, we've got that somewhere in here, is buying his stock relentlessly. So hedge funds short, mutual funds, insurance companies, and central banks long. Do you have to be a gray-bearded market historian to know how that turns out? Ha! And all these wedge funds are already down 20% from whatever mathematical model that didn't take into account, the orange man's Twitter feed. Guess what? It's unstoppable. And we even have Ray Dalio backtracking on the apocalypse after getting on national television and scaring everybody. Everybody, that is, except the people listening to Bill, Toby, and the Eagle King, which is you, and our members in Patreon and the YouTube member area. Gee, what's the orange man doing hanging around with the guy from El Salvador, right? The guy from El Salvador is cool, don't get me wrong, but, it's not a G7 country. It's not, a geopolitical hotspot. Unless, of course, they're talking about Bitcoin. They buy one every day. And no one cared. On the way down, it's like, yeah, whatever. They paid 88. They paid, 87, 86, 85, 84, 77. Yeah, it's going to 72. I'm going to get short at 5x leverage short. All the dinwits here on Twitter. I'll cover and I'll get long at 72. Okay. It's now at 92. Now you're afraid to push the button. Don't be afraid to push the button. This is it. This is it. Japanese MicroStrategy company, Metaplanet, 5,000 Bitcoin, average price sub 90. Check with these guys at the end of the year. See how they did. Everybody made fun of them for buying a bunch of stuff at 100. Check with them. Hedging against the yen. Fidelity says Bitcoin supply on exchanges is dropping due to public company purchases. You're going to have a supply shock. And if you're not in Patreon reading that report about miners, I seriously cannot help you. Because you can read that report about miners and go help yourself. You can. Right? Because it's last chance shopping. In other words, the market's reversed. The decoupling has happened. Everything that you could ever want in Bitcoin. I saw a short video on Instagram of Miss Teen Crypto, and she's like, oh, Bitcoin has decoupled. I'm so glad I can stop stressing out about it. That's the attitude of the Bitcoiners. And I know Bitcoin to many people is boring. It shouldn't be. It's the cyberpunk money which leads the other cyberpunk projects, aka altcoins. Yeah, we're going to have meme coins again. Yeah, we're going to have it all. But AI agents may be issuing the meme coins. So what AI agent platforms are out there, and have you looked at them? The answer is probably no, because the next rally in tech stocks won't be tech stocks. It'll be technology-based crypto. Swiss National Bank, non-stop buying. Little adding to our positions here. Historical MicroStrategy position of Swiss National Bank. Whoop. They're an equities hedge fund, by the way. Probably overly long the Magnificent Seven. The great state of Texas is trying to hold hearings to become a strategic reserve state. The first state that gets there goes down in history. It's gotta be Texas. How can it not be Texas? Of course, I live there. It's gotta be. Bloomberg Intelligence says Bitcoin price stability could prompt the adoption in crypto treasuries. Don't you love this? What was it? 3 weeks ago, it's like, oh my God, can't touch any of this crypto. Way too volatile. All the states backing out. All the legislation failing. Yeah. At 108, it was fantastic. But at 78, it was nuclear. I had to wear a special radiation suit to pick up my phone and check Bitcoin. So ridiculous. more public firms might rethink crypto as U.S. exceptionalism dims. Don't you love it how they have to attach it? Doomberg has to reverse itself by attaching it to something negative. Don't you love the never-ending negativity? Which is like rocket fuel. It's like the space shuttle launching, but as it launches, it's getting refueled as it launches, as Doomberg feeds more negativity in there. You could have U.S. exceptionalism by having the U.S. lead on Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. Now, do they need a hedge against fiat? Yeah. Do they need a hedge against the treasury bonds that they hold? Yep. Right? In other words, you can have legacy convulse just from the orange man does a tweet. That's all. Oh, I don't like Powell. Boom. Legacy problem. I mean, if you don't, you either own Bitcoin, you're either a Bitcoin maxi or you're fired inside corporations. And I think anybody who doesn't get on ETH or Solana, like ETH for finance, let's call it that, anybody who doesn't get on board with that is also fired. Corporate earnings releases in July for the second quarter. You don't have Bitcoin, you're done. You're absolutely done. Adam Black says Bitcoin is headed for 500,000. The whole idea that the cycle is over is wrong. It is. We haven't had the cycle yet. So either the cycle is over and we're doing something totally different. Toby has a view on that. Or we haven't had the cycle yet because we've had a series of ones and twos. All the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. Usually a prelude to a three wave. What's a three wave? 2017. Like very steady capital appreciation. Like basically up only. Slowly, gradually, then suddenly. I mean, if Bitcoin is going to do nothing but go up and all coins are dramatically oversold, I'm very happy you're watching this show and we can give you help on specific coins. But do you not know in your heart of hearts what you have to do here? There's a green button emoji for the guys in the $4 program. Get you priority on comments. Has Bitcoin having lost its mojo? The crypto sees the worst ever post-halving performance. Are we still reading this? This is published April 23rd. Another famous journalist. Print this out. Stick it on your wall. You see what I'm talking about? This is still negative. Everyone's like, oh, I missed it. Missed what? Missed what? There is absolutely nobody home except everyone is like staring at it going, well, I'm bullish. Or I don't know if I'm bullish. Last time Bitcoin was at 90 something, people were bullish and maybe long, but not long enough. Now people aren't long enough. They might not be bullish. And by the time they figure it out, it could be gone, which is why it's like I grabbed the microphone and I'm like shouting into it. Last chance, right? This is your moment. Like all the altcoin daily and BitBoy thumbnails. Do it now. Big news. This is your last chance. Big moment. Now you don't have to watch all their videos. You can watch mine. Turning point in institutional investor sentiment, says TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade says, yeah, they go to a meeting, right? Because these guys, I know you see it on Twitter, but I actually worked in these places. So I know what a research meeting looks like. So the guy who covers crypto miners goes into his boss's office, or his boss comes to see him and goes, yeah, these spreadsheets that we had that talk about Bitcoin miners and how, their revenue from the halving was down. And yeah, we should maybe rethink that. Can you put something in the model and recompute for 250 Bitcoin and see what we get? And then subtly, and again, I'm in research. I publish, I talk. I have to turn it around. I know exactly what this is like. So I'm not dissing, but they turned it around. They're like, get something out there now. Get us turned around. And you know what? I have huge amounts of respect for people who have it one way, even though I kind of made fun of that, who say, all right, this was my view. There's new information. Now I'm going to do something different. That is the hallmark of good research. These are the states where Americans have the most cash on hand. So people do have cash on hand. How's that working out? You got your money in banks sitting there doing what exactly? Do you know how fast it takes for people to transfer half of what they got in savings into a Coinbase account and just market buy something? Solana at 300. That's, to us, that's like, oh my God, that's 100% return. Yeah, but when they look at that compared to 100 and something Bitcoin, retail's just going to love it. That's the biggest case for Solana. It's optically cheap versus everyone else. Meanwhile, at the Legacy Ranch, this is written by a gold guy, of course, the longer you can look back, the farther you can look forward. Okay, so he's talking about the relationship between stocks and gold, and stocks have to go lower versus gold. That's nice. The end of a monetary era is always the same, with bubble assets going up in smoke. Right. But the best analyst in crypto today, Toby, has told everybody that this is not going to be like any other year. So you can look at this, or you can read Ray Dalio's 1,000-page book, or you can listen to Toby, right? And this is not happening. The monetary era is the rise of crypto and all things related to crypto. Because no matter what you want to say about the vulture capitalists, they've been building this stuff for years. They've been building crypto for years, the tech, the rails, the DeFi. I mean, there are stuffs out there that make money. Aave is profitable. They make money. We talked about one play that was the lead DeFi play in 2020, one of the leaders. So it was like Compound, Chainlink, and then the next one we talked about. It's been there. It's there. But the longer you can look back, the farther you can look forward. Do you realize if you look back to years like 2011, I know Bitcoin was basically an altcoin back then. I got historical research for the PowerPoint. Do you realize if you look at rallies late in the month, in the second quarter, you have monster rallies unfold? You had one of these moves on May 22nd in 2017. Do you want to know where Bitcoin was when that rally happened? 2,000. It 10x'd. It went to 20K. This is happening. 2011, you had hysterics over European government bonds. Monster moves occurred once that shockwave of negativity was gone. Again, I mean, it's just like shows up in the data machine, and I'm like, oh, there it is. There's what Toby talked about a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Okay, what's for dinner? Orange Man, changing the subject, enraging the New York Times. What could be more fun? Buy my coin, come to my dinner. One of the best things ever about that NFT is that if you held a certain amount of NFTs, you got a dinner with the Orange Man in Mar-a-Lago. Changing the subject, enraging the New York Times. Let Elizabeth Warren scream while Bessent tries to get some kind of trade deal so they can back out of this tariff thing without losing face. By the way, he ended the market in January with the meme coin, and he just ignited it again. She said nobody realized it. I didn't realize it was a top. I mean, I should have realized it was a top, but we were too wound up about the American-made cryptos. Now he just did the bottom. What's for dinner? Trotting out the old Coinbase cuts from Davos. You know what I mean? Coinbase says, right, a tweet from April 24th with video that's a month and a half or 2 months old. Why? Because they did the wrong trade. There he is. Come on, visit the White House. Private tour. Get some sleep, GameStop. We'll be seeing you first thing in the morning with a monster Bitcoin purchase. More Ethereum FUD. Cardano. You can find out what we think of Cardano. I don't think Ethereum will survive more than 10 years. Okay, bro, we'll see. We'll come check with you in 10 years. I said that about ETH, when it was at $80. You know how many times ETH has been dead? ETH is like Freddy Krueger. They kill him and they keep coming back. He's gone and he's not. He's back. for, the 15th movie installment. Now, of course, it's not a horror movie, but when they say ETH has no use case, that has never worked out. The use case shows up. ETH had no use case until NASDAQ went down 2% and Bitcoin went up 2% that day. That's when ETH had a use case. Don't buy into this. I'm telling you. And don't go anywhere for this XRP chart, because this altcoin thing is very simple. Can Solana go back to $500 when meme coins surge? Sure. And again, we want to make sure we give a shout out to our Canadian friends and the YouTube member question that we forgot, which was that asset allocation to small altcoins, 10%, not investment advice. You start going past 15%, you better have really deep pockets, because altcoins, small altcoins can vaporize even if you get the market right. 15 crypto firms seek bank licenses. Now, if you stuck around, this is a very important point about crypto and the cyberpunk John McAfee rebellious crypto revolution. Now, crypto places want to become banks. Banks have lobbying power. Crypto firms don't want to be beholden to banks, so they want to become banks. Now, one reason that you want to become a bank is that because you can get on Uncle Sugar's good side by doing stable coins, right? Now, at the moment, Congress is considering a stable coin bill, and that's going to pass because Bessent has sold it as a way to have the integrity of the dollar hold up. And the way that happens is that the stablecoin companies like Tether buy treasuries to back the stablecoins. So we want everybody in US dollar stablecoins, and the Fed's going to go along with it because, these things are practically CBDCs. They can track whatever they want. But again, they print stablecoins, they use treasury debt to make stablecoins, and that eventually winds up in Bitcoin. That's what 2017 was all about. They literally printed Tether and whoop, that's how they ramped it. Now, Coinbase is not happy because they want FIT 21, which would functionally legalize the rest of the industry. But can you believe it? Congress only wants to pass what the banks want, which is stablecoins. But they've left out the effective legalization of the rest of the industry. So you want regulatory clarity? We'll give it to you about crypto. You want to avoid future lawsuits? Sorry, Jamie Dimon doesn't want that. And you know what? I'm okay with that. We don't want Congress to legalize it. No. We want it to be the rebellion against Congress, because who checks Congress? The bond market and Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up. Bitcoin goes high enough, it's eventually an embarrassment. Congressmen get up and open their mouth. Boom, Bitcoin goes higher. It's going to be fun in the beginning, but then it's going to be embarrassing. It is. So don't legalize it. Continue to spend $1 trillion every 5 months. Go ahead, make my day. So I don't blame Coinbase for being like, hey, right? If we do stable coins, they think there might not be enough interest or appetite or time left to also do market structure. Do they want you to be free? Ask yourself, honestly, do they want you to be free? Or is it just a good show on Twitter? Like, the orange man may mean well, but that doesn't mean that that whole machine around him cares about you. And you can make an argument the orange man only cares about, his popularity. Either way, what's going to happen to you in 10 years? What's going to happen to you when they think their money is their money and your money is their money? You think that can't happen? It can happen. Which goes back to last chance shopping. What tech stock can you invest in? Crypto. What money can you get your hands on? Can you get $100 worth of Bitcoin? Can you get $50 worth of Bitcoin? Can you turn on the notification bell on the stream? Do it. Which cryptocurrency do they prefer in India? The shocking answer is XRP, I believe. Right? XRP is a big, big player in India. China opens gold. Every time gold opens in China, someone buys it. Now, that's fine. Gold is fine. It's a central bank reserve asset. It's a leading indicator for Bitcoin. The Chinese have a currency problem, and they're going to need dollars. They may need gold now, but they may need to convert the gold into dollars. So my personal opinion, which is not popular, is that, yeah, gold long-term is fine. But Chinese may have to sell gold. They can't stabilize their currency with gold. They can make it look good. It's impressive that they have it, but it doesn't help them, basically prevent their currency from collapsing versus the dollar. Again, the media is either bearish or doing the wrong trade. They're all doing the wrong trade. They're all still selling all this legacy disaster stuff. Look at Ray. Backtrack. Gets his suit on. Tells everyone it's the end of the world. A U.S.-China beautiful rebalancing. Doesn't sound like the end of the world to me. Meanwhile, the Chinese say, we're not talking to you. All these rumors. Yeah, we're not talking to you. We're not. Okay. Any content about China-U.S. economic talks is bunk. Okay. Elon is out. Elon says he wants to leave politics due to continued attacks by the left. I don't know if that's true or not. It doesn't matter. He wanted to go to Mars, and he maybe did have your interest at heart. Okay, that's nice. He's done. Unfortunately, he's done. He is absolutely done. And they're going to continue to spend. And I know I had something in here where somebody in the White House said that they're looking for an off-ramp. Yeah, here we go. Wall Street sources inside the White House, right? They're attempting to negotiate through the media, acting tough, but signaling that they need a deal. They need a graceful exit. And they need to change the subject, and we have discussed that. They need to change the subject. Norway's sovereign wealth fund buying MicroStrategy. Now, you're probably like, well, Norway, so what? Yeah, it's the biggest sovereign wealth fund in the world because they have natural gas reserves. Huge buyers. I mean, this thing literally, it's like you wake up one day and it's gone, which is why I'm on this thing screaming, don't sleep on it. And when you see this XRP chart and when you see how this market, the technical structure is behaving, you're going to know everyone thinks it's last chance shopping. So don't get lulled to sleep. Okay, Ethereum maxis should become whatever to win TradFi tokenization race. The global settlement later for TradFi. What happens when they start coming in and buying Ethereum massively? BlackRock could be the buyer. Bitcoin's next resistance is at 95. What will trigger the breakout? Are we talking about resistance? What? Yeah, there's a ton of resistance at 120. Don't talk to me about 100. It's a number. Everyone's like, oh my God, it could go through 60. It could go through 50. It could go through 80. Yeah, I know. These things matter. They're in chart books. They do matter. They mattered earlier in the year when it was like, wow, this is a shocking new price. This time, they're not going to care. The question is, do you own it or do you not own it? Are you employed or are you not employed? Not a good environment to not be employed for not owning Bitcoin. Orange Man fought the bond market and lost. There's a lot of truth to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this treasury bond market almost fell apart. It almost did. And I don't think they want to have any more almost, which is why that stablecoin bill, is flying like the wind through Congress. Get any buyers of treasuries that we can. Crypto asset managers getting special accounts at Binance. I mean, it never ends. Will Canada do digital assets? God, I hope so. God, I hope so, man. I mean, they're doing consensus in Toronto because of the weather. I ain't going up there because I don't want to get picked up for whatever I say on the live stream. But hey, I hope it's filled with Canadians. There's nothing more freeing than the citizens of the UK and Canada to embrace this. Privacy, Bitcoin, antivirus. What can you get your hands on? Here's antivirus. You can, there's a token burning mechanism for people buying email, using the mixer, and doing all this stuff because, they don't care up there. They switched out Trudeau for, Trudeau Part 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best thing you can do for Canadians is give them crypto. Okay. What is the latest on antivirus? The cross-chain mixer is coming out. They're reviewing the code and they're going to open source the code so that everybody can see basically how they did it. Okay. And Johnny says he wants to thank me for the knowledge. I listened to you on and off. I bought one of those NFTs. Bro, NFTs are a really funny game, right? I mean, if you own it, hang on to it. Because that other place, they were in AI and crypto 7 years before anybody was in AI and crypto. So I hope he gets it together and goes public because that's what he wanted to do when I worked there. Then I believed him. We all bought into that. We did. Cantor skyrockets 130%. So the guy inside Cantor Fitzgerald, who works at the White House, said we're buying $3 billion worth of Bitcoin and the stock explodes. Probably some absurd FOMO. But now that other corporations have seen what he did, after he found out how the sausage got made, this is why I'm telling you. You may be like, Bill, this might be a little repetitive. Yeah, well, last chance shopping is not repetitive. I couldn't say it enough. I couldn't say it enough that crypto winter was BS for 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm not buying this. It's a selling climax. I'm not doing it. Now I'm like, okay, you stayed or you're back. Thank you. Thank you. Really. Thank you. Now get after it. Just get after it. Bitcoin traders eye long-term options, right? They're also doing something called selling puts. I'll spare you having to read the finance book. Selling puts is a way to raise money by saying Bitcoin's never going below X level again. That's my bet. So I'll make a bet that says Bitcoin is never going below this level. I'll get money for doing that bet, and then I'll take that money, right, from selling those things, from making that bet. It gives me money. I take risk, of course, if it goes down, but I take that money, and what do I do with it? I buy bets on the upside. Raise money by saying it's never going below 80. And then go in the options market and bet big the other way before everyone wakes up to the fact. Oh, look at this. Traders bet 110K by June as Bitcoin dominance grows amid trade turmoil. Okay. It's not about just trade turmoil. Trade turmoil was the thing that created the decoupling. And what the media is trying to do, because like my guy Omar is in here and he's really smart. Okay. I know they got to write about something and they can't just say it's going up because it's going up because it's overdue, right? You had a 3-month washout that people interpreted incorrectly. The Russians are in. Central bank and finance ministry. So much for BRICS, right? Oh, we want a payment mechanism. Oh, we want our toilet paper to be the new reserve currency, or we want to turn our toilet paper into new toilet paper. Okay. It's called Bitcoin. Really, it is. Or any other digital asset. It's not going to be, a mix of their paper. Coinbase in partnership with PayPal to move stable coins around. Maybe Coinbase could start listing like actual cryptocurrencies, but they're afraid of the government. So much the better. If they're afraid, I used to get on them for hesitating. Now let them hesitate. Buy what they won't list. I mean, do you realize I read a report today and it was just like, it blew my mind. There's like decentralized machine learning, sub 1,000 market cap. It's out there. There's like privacy machine learning with privacy. Like the tech part of crypto is so it's like, I can't even use the word undervalued. It's almost like it's trading like it doesn't exist. Like it doesn't exist. right? Look at this guy. Let's be real. It's way too late for Ethereum to compete at the L1 scaling game. Okay, bro. When Wall Street has to get on chain, dude, where are they going? Especially after what happened with Mantra. Oh, by the way, you should get in a YouTube member area to find out what we think of real world assets and DeFi and which coins that we like, because that could be life-changing money once they come in. Bessett, Treasury Secretary, changing the subject, slamming the IMF, encouraging to rebuild economic growth. He says IMF devotes disproportionate time and resources to work on, let's call them, social issues. By the way, the IMF, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, the Federal Reserve, what do they have in common? Other than they want the only thing that shows up on your DoorDash to be which type of bug you can eat. Now is the time for you to take control of your life. It's your life, right? Your money, your positions, right? The orange man got himself $12 billion for tariffs. Congratulations. You're only running a $1 trillion a year deficit. So maybe between Elon and the tariffs, they maybe collect anywhere from 100 to 200 billion. Buy Bitcoin with that money while you have it. U.S. companies are declaring bankruptcy at the fastest pace in 15 years. Just a reminder that rates are way too high. And stocks are garbage, even if they rally. Stocks will probably rally, right? Because the sentiment was apocalyptic. But that doesn't mean that we're not at the actual tail end of a recession, which is another Toby theme. We're not going into a recession. We've been in one. The underemployment, the inflation, it's literally miserable for so many people. Like personally, I can't get enough money in Bitcoin. Can't. Right? It feels like, I don't know, we got to like make sacrifices just to get the money in there. Because that's gonna be the rising tide that lifts all boats. It's gonna be old school. It was like, oh, the cycle's dead, crypto's not. No. Bitcoin rises, and then when Bitcoin stops, everything else just absolutely smoked. Right? I mean, you have to play it sector by sector. You want alt season? Think about Bitcoin. Bitcoin could trigger an alt season that could last 6 months. It wouldn't be an alt season. It would be a revaluation of all decentralized technology, or at least more decentralized than the Magnificent Seven. How's that? You want 6 months of alt season? They said it was crypto winter, and Toby said 6 months of alt season. Sort of. Find out which ones you want. China unveils plan to promote payment using their toilet paper in international trade. Good luck. Good luck. You can't manage your own currency, and the whole world is going to use your currency or XRP. I wonder. Here's XRP for those who stayed and waited. So XRP goes up, has 9 monthly candles on the upside. Now, normally when you get a 9 top, you get a 9 signal. That's either it, okay, or the 9 signal provides you with a dip. So you get the rally, and then there's a dip, and then if it holds, it resumes. Most of the time, the dip is after the 9 signal. In this case, since XRP kind of slumped early, this final puke below $2 feels like the dip. Oh, and by the way, you retested the old high and came back. I don't think it looks any better than this. Anybody want to talk about what happens when this thing turns around? You get XRP turning around, you could have 13 more up months. And if you really want to go full Kool-Aid, like if you want a cup of Kool-Aid, you want to be rewarded for watching the show, you got a 9 top on the quarterly XRP chart. Anybody want to talk about 13 more up quarters? Right? Ripple's not going public without doing something. Like, you know how Galaxy Digital diversified its business model, went out, got AI data centers, right? Even though they had to get rid of Bitcoin mining, which I think is stupid, but they had to diversify their model to go public. Ripple is not going public on hype. They got to go public when they do something. This chart says whatever dip was going to have, whatever hate there was going to be, they've had it already. They've already hated on it. They've already hated on it. Okay. Here's the miner report in Patreon. Pay us a visit. There's a link on my Twitter. Here's the YouTube member podcast. Okay. Here is Talking John McAfee. Talking video. ByteDance has released something, and so has another big tech company. The guy's talking. They're going to release effectively something like Tornado Cash. Let's put it that way. Except you're going to have it on ETH and Solana. And all this guy does is build. And we're just waiting for the market and more advanced marketing beyond yours truly. Not to mention the fact that there are fudsters in here who are literally scared of this thing. Like, little guys make tweets. They're attacking them. They're attacking me. They just continue to do it. He's going to do a mixer, and then he's going to publish the code. John leads the cryptocurrency revolution again. The Declaration of Cryptocurrency Independence. This guy, yeah, he's dead, but he's back. Think about it. Think about it. And he's a crypto thought leader. Some people are afraid of that. They should be. They should embrace it. Like Arthur Hayes is a great crypto thought leader. And everything he thinks or says about the market, people are just, and he's really smart. Of course he is, right? I mean, he made himself, he went from nothing to, the top of the heap. But everything we're doing now, this guy invented it. He invented it and promoted it when no one else would even talk about it. Don't believe me? Okay. So Princeton University. So we have Harvard in the news. We have Yale in the news. We have $100 billion going from Uncle Sugar to universities to fund what exactly? Okay. Well, Princeton doesn't care about your civil rights. They don't care. It's that simple. They don't care. Like, this is the law. Okay. We're going to do something different. Okay. Is anyone going to stop them? No. If this comes back in 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, when you get positioned for it now, everyone says, I wish I had bought Bitcoin in 2013. This is 2013, bro. This is 2013 for a wackadoo future from AI. Like Skynet could be on you. Universities could be on you. This is the core theme of that podcast. What are you going to do now that helps you later? Because we all will need help later, bro. We all will. Okay. Now, if we go to DeMark, okay, Solana quietly approaching a pause. Today may have been the pause. Okay. Solana, there's no resistance in Solana, right? If you look at this, okay, you see this here? This, you can barely see. That's the dip. That's the dip. When it gets up here, everyone wants this. You're not getting this. This was crypto winter, supposedly. It's hard as hell. I mean, it was just, that's 15 live streams where I could barely muster the strength to scream into this microphone, don't get bearish crypto. Like, there's no resistance in Solana. I mean, if 147 holds, all you have is this huge reversal candle. You're just going to unwind the orange man unwind. So there's nobody home in Solana until 177. Nobody. ETH. What we got here? Nothing. The daily chart, the next level on ETH is 3163. And that's basically 2/3 of the way back. So what was all this hootenanny? I don't know, man. What's it all about? ETH is never coming back again with a 13 bottom on a weekly chart. Don't forget this. We discussed this, and I got off this. This month was the 13 bottom in ETH. It's the opposite of what happened here. This was the 13 top. This was sell in May and go away. This was get out of FTX. This is when I smelled Celsius. Get out, get out, get out. I interviewed the guy from Celsius for some BS promotional thing that we were doing, and he was trashing some young analyst from Nansen, I think, who came out and said there's something wrong with this company. And instead of respecting the other person's analysis, it's the same thing with Anti or anything else. You have analysis, you have your view. Okay, I have my view. But he was like extremely negative about that report in an emotional way. And then I saw this 13 signal, and that's when the prayer of the sheepdog got read on the air, because this was tough, right? This is down, then it's up, right? Then it's up with a new high, right? So they smack it, they bring it back. They smack it, they bring it back, new high. They smack it, they made a new high, and then they dropped it with this 13 signal. Here, it's the other way, right? Like, you know, this was like down, everything's fine, crash. This was up, everything's fine, down, 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 13 bottom, you know, 3 up months, 3 giant candlesticks. Ethereum owes me 3 giant candlesticks up to this resistance level. It's as simple as that, right? And it exists in ETH versus Bitcoin. I keep talking about this, right? These charts, by the way, these charts are nowhere if you're new. No one is talking about this. None. Nobody. Okay. I don't know. I lost my chart there. ETH versus Bitcoin. 13 bottom on Binance. The outperformance of altcoins, like Bitcoin will lurch higher all of a sudden, probably just do a God candle all in one day, because I can't believe, I mean, the first big guy that comes in is going to move it. I think the only reason it's not there now is because people are like, well, the orange man might do a tweet. Maybe I'll get a dip. No, you're not going to get anything. There's too many big guys that want to own it. There's just too many big guys. So again, I want to repeat, shout out to our friends in Canada. I want to repeat a shout out to our YouTube members, right? And I appreciate their business. Anybody who had to step into the free group in Patreon, come on back, because we are about to absolutely reload. A better shot is here, hitting the notorious McAfee XRP emoji. What could be more fun? A Better Shot Inc. says, Bill, thank you for keeping me in the market. Do not let them shake you out of this thing. I cannot emphasize it enough. I keep you in the game. Who keeps me in the game? She does. Right? I mean, these discussions that we have are absolutely unbelievable. We just sit down, and it's just like when Neo went to see the Oracle. If you've ever watched the first Matrix movie, you know, the Oracle smokes her cigarette, tells Neo to have a cookie, and she just lays it all out for him. And then I come in here. I forgot about the PowerPoint, right? I come in here and I go, all right, well, I'm going to go dig to see if there's any evidence, to see if there's anything, see if I can see what she sees. She sees it before me, and then I try to see it before you and get you in. So just as a reminder, Trump says tariffs, volatility spikes. When volatility spikes, the Treasury and Fed respond. When they respond, liquidity rises and Bitcoin levitates. Once Bitcoin gets to a certain level, we enter alt season. This is a review of what Arthur Hayes has said. You've been told. Meanwhile, this whole thing about, late month rallies in the second quarter. So chunky Bitcoin rallies say with like a week to go, May 22nd, 2017, Bitcoin at 2,000. April 22nd, 2011, Bitcoin had $1.40. In May of the same year, it went to 7. And then it went up another 177% over the next 3 weeks. Now, is that appropriate for Bitcoin? Maybe not. But if that's the kind of juice that's in the market, what can happen to, I don't know, name it, Arrow, Numerate, AI, PAL. I mean, would these things, they're in the YouTube member area, people. They're in there. And there's some of them are in the Patreon store too. If you're allergic to the monthly membership. Like the monthly membership gets you the altcoins and 2 podcasts a week. Frankly, it's worth twice what the value, particularly in an upcoming up market, even in a down market where we kept people involved. Okay, if you look at this, right, 2019, right, when Bitcoin was at 10K, Bitcoin went up another 7% after a late month rally in June. Even in a bear market in April of 2022, when Bitcoin was at 7K, Bitcoin turned around and went up 40%. That was in a down market. Bitcoin can go up 40% in a down market. What can it do now? Right? And I keep pounding on these analogs, right? In other words, Ethereum matches up. The red is today. The blue is the past. Ethereum looks just like it did before the election. The same exact thing. Solana. And we go on and we go on and we go on. Now, let's take a moment to review. I can't give you investment advice, but what I can tell you is the clock is ticking on this market. It's ticking on Bitcoin. Ethereum and Solana are absurdly oversold. XRP is an eventuality. The dollar's got nowhere to go but down or be in a range. Gold is probably overbought. Stocks are probably oversold. Crypto only went down because we expected the government to do something for us. Now it's better because we can do it, A, for ourselves, and B, we can do that in the face of clear policy error. Like, doesn't matter what you think or whether you like them or you don't like them, they've pretty much screwed up. They've either screwed up a little bit or a lot. And when they screw up, they have to change the subject. And on a more dramatic note, when they screw up, it's an indication that we need a different form of money. That people are going to flood into Coinbase and they're going to be like, what's cheap? What's moving? What's hot? What makes sense? Right? And they may look and say, okay, are there any DeFi coins in Coinbase? What do we got? Okay. Is Bitcoin Cash the same as Bitcoin? Is it cheap Bitcoin? Bitcoin's at 100 and something, but Bitcoin Cash is at 500. So is that cheap? I mean, that's what the general public is going to say. The general public is going to market buy this stuff because they were willing to market buy it in November. And now everyone is cleared out. So when the general public goes to market buy it, the question I ask you is, where is it going to be? Because, I mean, if you look at like YouTube statistic or something, people are just done. Just done. I mean, you may not be done. YouTube members are not done. Patreon Spartans are not done. People are done. And when they start coming back in, I mean, literally, general public left and corporations are all sitting around going, gee, you think we're going to be able to buy it? Do you think we should go in now? Do you think there's going to be another dip? This is a recipe for a banana. Gradually, then suddenly. Okay? Last chance shopping. On behalf of Toby and the Eagle King, we will see you tomorrow.